everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show in which I find out how only women can save us in the world of business. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. Once again, wonderful, terrible Thursday. Yes, we return once again to the wonderful world of off-brand TED Talks for education and information. I call it information. Hope you're all doing well this evening. Have had a good week so far. So I had intended to do a different TEDx tonight, but as soon as I took a look at it, it was filmed on a potato webcam. The sound was terrible, and I just didn't want to. But thankfully, I have plenty of backups. And this is the one we're doing today, mainly because of the number of puns in the title, which I tried to carry across into the thumbnail. Boss Babe, She-E-O, and the Femmepreneur. Anyway, almost sounds like manure, but I'm sure we'll find out ourselves here momentarily. Before I get to the wonderful presentation, who are the wonderful people that are joining me on this wonderful evening? Jonathan Peterson, hello. McZemzem, hello. Jaeger Pony, hello. Cephas Wolf, hello. Kiefer Dam, hello. Mike R, hello. Zeke Weiss, hello. Jamie Milquist, hello. Swirl Blue, hello. Who else is here? Colleen, Senior Staff Reporter and Chief Florida Correspondent, Colleen Bernier, hello. Attack Alpaca, hello. Bridget, hello. JMK, hello. Let's see, who else is here? Anybody else? Oh, everything jumped. Of course, chat jumped. It does that. Neon Leon, hello. Lexi Mads, hello. Shell D, hello. Lurking Gopher, hello. Tier Alexander, hello. Liesel7, hello. Pissed Off Shih Tzu, hello. Deco, hello. Good evening to you all. If I missed anybody, I do apologize, but the show must proceed. Oh, well, Atheist Icon, hello. And Emperor W.R. Costin, hello. And Keldrig, hello. All right, so tonight's bingo card is bingo card A. A as in at the end of the day, because I put corporate speak out onto the poll this evening for the bingo card. If you would like to join in on the selection process for the bingo card each week, be sure to follow me on Twitter. You can find my Twitter handle in the description and on the screen. That was my best sort of radio announcer attempt. How'd that go? Is that all right? That work okay? All right. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people and scribbles. Found $20 at work today while cleaning trash. What do you do with the clean trash? Gave half to Monkey, and I'm giving the other half to you. Well, thank you, Kyle. That's very nice of you. Well, I hope you enjoy your clean trash. All right, then. Appreciate it. And Rib Rascal, hello, who wants us to know that Amber Heard is a psychopath, BTW. Well, I'm sure she is. Anyway, so just as a warning, there will be a special announcement at the end of the show. You'll want to stick around for that, unless you're listening to this in the future, and you can probably just skip to it. But you're not if you're here now, so nya. And thank you, Tall Person. Hoy, can't watch live, we'll watch in full later. Happy National Dolphin Day. Anybody here play Echo the Dolphin back on Sega Genesis in the day? That was a very bizarre game. There's a really weird story behind the inspiration for that game, especially the name of the dolphin and everything. I think, what was there's a YouTube channel that did a whole documentary on it about the dolphin scientist. I forget the name of the YouTube channel. I will try to remember it between now and the end of the show and tell you. But either way, with that, let's move on. So get your bingo cards ready. This presentation clocks in at just over 7 minutes, a relatively short TEDx. Now, one warning, the end portion of this video, I didn't know this until I had to try to boost the sound and everything, is a segment of nothing but cards and text with, like, I guess, inspirational quotes. I didn't read them. I just saw them. But there's no dialogue during that portion. There was just music. And since I want to try to dodge a copyright claim if I can, I replaced that music with music I know won't be a problem. So when we get to that point, you'll know it when you see it, obviously, and we'll just go together. That's the only editing thing I will give you a clue as to right now. But with that, let's start with a couple of seconds for sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed.
Hello.
Well, hello. You guys hear the hello all right? I only boosted the sound a little bit, and I took out some of the background noise because it was fairly clear to begin with. Let's see. Swirl Blue says, uh-oh, Scribe sings again. Well, pardon me for trying. Anyway.
And thank you for coming to the memorial service of Boss Babe.
The memorial service of Boss Babe. Okay.
Yep. Before we get started, let's pause for a moment of silence as we remember this patronizing, infantilizing, and toxic term that is Boss Babe.
Okay. I remember there was a hashtag campaign back in like 2014, 2015 that I'm forgetting exactly what it was, but I remember that a whole bunch of very famous female actresses and or CEOs were a part of it, and I'm forgetting it right now. Was it Boss Babe, or was it something else? I forget now. Either way, okay, you're killing off Boss Babe. Oh, Ken Lee, thank you. Don't say bossy. That's right, ban bossy. That's what it was. Okay, not this. So something else. All right, so you're Boss Babe, the second class CEO. All right, I'll go along for now. Yeah, really up audience.
Boss Babe.
Yes.
Femmepreneur. CEO.
Yeah, they're all kind of ridiculous puns, aren't they?
Hashtag girl boss.
Yes.
These labels that were created for women by women were meant to uplift, empower, and create a sense of community. Oh,
is our speaker going to be pushing back against this totally sexist and patronizing sort of cheerleading squad? I might be on her side.
And they did that for a time, and it still does that for, now. But for myself and many other women business owners, these labels are sexist, toxic, demeaning, and really minimize the entrepreneurial experience of women business owners everywhere.
Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, I'm tentatively optimistic about where this is going. I guess we'll find out. But let's before we go there, let's check out the bingo card and remind ourselves what we're keeping an eye out for. Collectivize his own demographic. Well, female business owners like me. So I'm going to circle that one already, and free space reflexively thereafter. Systemic institutional, not yet. Sales pitch for product or service, not yet. Childhood or family anecdote, nope. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, nope. Plays victim, maybe, we'll see. Microaggressions, unconscious bias, not yet. Privilege, no. Contradicts own point or argument, don't know what it is yet. Patriarchy, I'd be surprised if we don't get there. Weightless example, no. Wage gap, perhaps. Feminism, perhaps. Marginalization, maybe. A list, not yet. And again, it has to be a formal list. White supremacy, no. Word salad, not yet. Self-vilification or wretchedness, I'd be surprised. Argumentative non sequitur, not yet. Attempt to coin new buzzword buzz phrase. No, she just listed off a bunch of existing things so far. Mind reading assumes motives, perhaps. Benevolent condescension, not yet. Anecdote that probably never happened, haven't had any. And leaves out vital context, not yet. So far we have collectivize his own demographic and free space on the bingo card. Here we go.
We are already second-class CEOs in the world of business.
Okay, plays victim. Circling that one right there. Let's see if she doesn't read off everything on this card she has up. I will read it out loud momentarily for those of you listening at home. If I can hit the play button.
We're going to go over that later.
Okay, well then I will read off the card that she will go over later. Startups and finances. The Women's Business Ownership Act of 1988 allowed women to obtain a loan without needing a male cosigner. Okay. Quote, 89% of partners at venture capital firms are men. And there's no close quote, but it says source, PitchBook Financial Data 2017. Okay. Next quote. Men are less familiar with markets that cater to women. Source Boston Consulting Group 2018. If you say so, I guess that's not what, I mean, you're sourcing the quote, I guess, which is fine. That doesn't really back up the quote with any information. Quote, only 2% of the $85 billion invested by venture capitalists are invested in women-owned businesses, unquote. Again, from PitchBook Financial Data 2017. Okay, well, what is the percentage of women-owned businesses, I'm assuming, in America? I don't know. It's one of it goes right back to that whole gender-oriented budgeting that we talked about 2 or 3 TEDx's back. I don't know how to take those statistics without more information. And lastly, quote, without access to small loans, women and minority businesses are at a competitive disadvantage. Source American Banker, and the video line cuts off the year and the thing. So I guess if you say so, but I need more information, as always.
In the world of business. We're going to go over that later.
Okay.
But why do we keep putting these labels on ourselves?
Well, I suppose the intention is to uplift female confidence and interest in these areas. So, girl boss and band bossy, and trying to highlight women and encourage women into these roles, and etc. That is my guess as to the intent, although it just comes across as kind of whiny the way that it's presented oftentimes.
Just to remind us of the fact that we're second-class CEOs?
Well, that is the claim. And that is part of the reason behind them doing it, is like, hey, did you know that women can be CEOs too? That kind of thing. Well, I mean, yeah, I believe that is part of it. I'm no mind reader. I don't know why people put these things forward the way that they do, but that's sometimes what it comes across as. Yeah. As you say, infantilizing and demoralizing women, setting them up as a second tier of business people. And if you're against that, then, you and I have something in common.
As a second generation female entrepreneur, I do not want to be reminded of the fact that women in business are seen and treated as second-class CEOs.
You don't want to be reminded of it. Okay, so it's a fact then from your perspective. Okay. So you're just upset about being reminded of what you already believe to be true. Okay.
We are already at a competitive disadvantage.
Why are you at a competitive disadvantage? I mean, after 1988, let's say, why are you at a competitive disadvantage?
In 1988?
Yes, I got you.
The Women's Business Ownership Act was signed, which allowed women business owners to apply for a loan without a male co-signer.
Now, I don't know anything about loan co-signing or anything else, laws or et cetera. Was it a law that a woman needed a male co-signer to get a loan prior to 1988? Or a business loan, I should say. Is that what was happening? Or was the Women's Business Ownership Act one of those things that just sort of made law what should have been said explicitly at some point, but wasn't actually practiced by anybody, or was overriding some weird state statutes or something? I don't know, but yeah. So my question would be: prior to 1988, was it impossible for a woman to obtain a business loan without a male co-signer?
Progress?
Well, yes. If a woman needed a male co-signer prior to 1988, then yes, that is progress. There's no question mark at the end of that.
But with 89% of partners at venture capital firms being men, and seeing as male investors are less familiar with women markets, it is no surprise that only 2%, or $1.9 billion out of the $85 billion invested by venture capital firms, are invested in women businesses.
So do women-owned businesses only cater to female-oriented markets? Do male-owned businesses only cater to male-oriented markets? Is a man unable to understand a market involving women, and conversely, is a woman unable to understand a market involving men? What?
And without access to small business loans, women and minority businesses are at a competitive disadvantage.
So women and minorities do not currently have access to small business loans. I press X to doubt.
And yet, even though we're at a competitive disadvantage, women in business still bring in 20% more revenue with 50% less capital investment.
Do you? Well, then why? I guess everybody who's investing in male-run businesses are just stupid and don't know how to read the numbers and are just burning money. Right?
Woo is right.
Woo is right. What's your business? You just naming it won't make me like Mark sales pitch for product or service. But I mean, what business do you run?
Right. In addition, companies that had women on the board outperformed companies that had 0 women board members by 84% return on sales, 60% return on investment capital, and 46% return on equity.
Well, wait a second. If just running a business as a woman brings you in 20% more revenue with 50% less investment, why would you want more women flooding the market and taking your share? I mean, what? Okay. And let me predicate, because I didn't know we'd be getting into this kind of granular stuff. I am not an economist. So if I'm not understanding something here about how business or economy works or whatever, don't blame me. I'm an English major.
Who should be the boss now?
I don't know. Why aren't you? If simply having a vagina means that you will earn 20% more over 50% investment every time, yeah, why aren't women running everything right now? Because the stockholders should be throwing a fit every time something is being run by a man if those numbers are accurate and predictable and consistent. Right?
But even with these stats behind us, women in business are still seen and treated as second-class CEOs.
You keep telling me this. Do you want to show me some evidence of it, or things that actually sound reasonable? Because I'm pretty sure that women are not denied small business loans, full stop.
From bullying to sexual harassment to toxic positivity, women business owners are unequally targeted.
Toxic positivity. Oh boy. I did a TEDx on that a while back, I think. And it falls right in line with my formula for making your own TED Talk. Yeah.
And that's not surprising, because women who deviated from traditional gender stereotypes were actually disproportionately targeted for gender harassment.
Gender harassment. Okay. I can believe that women are harassed in the workplace. I can also believe that men are harassed in the workplace. And it all depends on your definition of harassment, which has become far more muddied in the last several years. But okay. And so how is this preventing women from opening up their own businesses?
Moreover, women business owners are more perceptible to...
Perceptible to? Do you mean susceptible to?
Bullying, because we are perceived weak, powerless, and defenseless.
And that's something to laugh at? Oh, okay.
Which is really funny to me.
It is? Okay. Weak and powerless. All right. Well, where are we going? I mean, okay. If I take you at your word, women are mistreated out of hand. The banking system hates women, and the business world hates women. Okay?
And just being a woman is a key predictor in workplace bullying.
Just being a woman. Okay.
And girl boss, toxic positivity, the boss babe culture is not helping matters.
Okay, so not highlighting and or cheerleading female CEOs that's a good thing. You don't want that to happen. You don't want these cheesy ad campaigns. Okay. But being a woman, even in the absence of these ad campaigns, is an inherent disadvantage in all things. All right. What then are you proposing happen in the alternative?
In the world of girl boss toxic positivity, standing up and speaking out against our negative experiences is actually frowned upon by other women in business in boss babe culture.
So women are harming women in business. Okay. Where are we going? Let me go back to the bingo card real quick because I figure we're missing something. Systemic institutional, banking system, institutional laws, etc. Circling that one. Sales pitch for product or service, not yet. Childhood or family, I don't know. Diversity, equity, include, no. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. Yeah, toxic positivity. Yeah, I'm going to circle that one. Privilege, contract, some point of argument. I don't know what our argument is yet. There is an inherent patriarchy theme going on here with men doing X and women being the underclass and all that kind of thing. Weightless example. Yeah, the example where she doesn't tell us, like, well, I don't know. How many women business owners are there in the country? Right? I'll hold off on that. Wage gap. She hasn't actually talked about, well, she talked about revenue. Yeah. That's kind of, well, it's not a wage gap. I'll wait. Feminism, I know it's heavily implied. I'm going to wait to see if she actually says it. Marginalization, yes. Women are harassed and looked down upon, etc. A list, not formally yet. White supremacy, no. Word salad, self-vilification, argument of non sequitur, attempt to coin new bros. Leaves out vital context. Yeah, I needed more information on those statistics to be able to tell whether or not any of it makes any sense. So far on the bingo card, actually, no, I take that back. The one I was thinking of was anecdote that probably never happened, i.e. minorities and women can't get small business loans. Or the implication that prior to 1988, women could only get a loan with a male signatory. I guess. On the board, we have collectivizes own demographic, systemic institutional, plays victim, microaggressions, unconscious bias, patriarchy, free space, marginalization, and anecdote that probably never happened. And then going over to the quotes real quick, or the quotes, the chat. Thank you, Kiefer Dam. She said equity also GoFundMe's. Oh. Did she say equity? All right. Well, she said equity. She did. That's right. Thank you, Kiefer Dam. And yes, the GoFundMe's. Let me replace that at the top of the chat box. Guys, if you take a moment to take a look at the top of the chat box for the GoFundMe's that should be there now, for our friends Shady Grin, Angry Illinoisian, and his kitten. They and their families and loved ones could certainly use your help. If you have a couple of extra bucks, please take a look at those if you have a chance. And with that, moving on.
And with this experience and people actually acting like this when we are harassed and bullied, it actually creates a culture of silence that includes denial of bullying behavior.
And this is all being done by women to other women. All right. Well, what do you propose happen? I'm still waiting for that part.
And when we continue on marching on, staying silent about our negative experiences with business, it actually stifles our career advancement.
Okay, so you're encouraging women to speak up about the bad things that happen to them at work? Okay, thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Must be hard being a businesswoman. The negatives are against you and the positives too. Mere existence is against you. Or you're catastrophizing. I don't think I've heard that word before. Catastrophizing? Is that like a very large apostrophe that kind of explodes? And thank you, Mr. Trunk again. Also, when you don't see it or hear it, that's more proof it exists. Convenient, huh? Yeah. How many of these stories go? I mean, there's harassment in the workplace and a percentage of unreported harassment. Right? I've heard that before. Unreported, etc. Like, well, if they're not reported, how do you know that they exist? Okay, so you want women to speak up about the bullying that happens in the workplace, but you also don't want to perpetuate the idea that women are weak and powerless. But women are the ones making other women feel powerless and weak, and criticizing them for their cheerleading efforts of boss babe, etc. And so we're 3 minutes and 52 seconds into a 7-minute presentation, the last 3 some odd minutes of it being note cards. Where are we going?
Due to loss in productivity.
Oh, here, I'll back up a little bit because I cut her off.
With business, it actually stifles our career advancement due to loss in productivity and alienation that comes with harassment and bullying.
Okay. I'm assuming, I could be wrong, I'm not a woman, I'm assuming the harassment and bullying doesn't take place every minute of every workday. So is there any way that you can move past that and get your job done anyway? I've worked at a couple of companies where I wasn't treated very well by my coworkers because they were a bunch of jerkwads, so I just ignored them and did my job. I don't know. It's what are we talking about? What are you proposing be done in the alternative? Cheerleading women in leadership positions apparently is silly and toxic to you. Okay. And so
it's no surprise that 77% of those surveyed stated that they did not report harassment to senior leadership.
Okay, well then nothing's going to change. I don't know what to tell you. If you're not willing to tell someone when something bad is happening that should not be happening, it will not change. Right? That's kind of the long and the short of it. Now, were the 77% you were talking about, were they all women? Okay, so is that the fault of other women? Or is something else going on here? What? Thank you, Chicago Mike. Is a woman's business loan only 77% the value of a male business loan? Also, sorry, Scribe, I changed my avatar again. How dare you? I've known you as that 3 red star blue bar thing forever. And then you change into Wrigley Field or whatever it was, and then now it's some thing building. I can't tell what it is. I don't know who you are anymore, Chicago Mike. I just don't know who you are anymore.
Reported or not, businesses lose more than $250 million per year due to loss in productivity, employee recruitment and retraining, or employee turnover, healthcare insurance claims, workers' comp disputes, and the list goes on.
What does any of that have to do explicitly or inherently with women? Is all of that the result of harassment and bullying in the workplace against women? I'm about to circle weightless example, unless you've got some really major follow-up to that.
And never mind the physical and mental health outcomes.
Okay, I'm circling weightless example because that has added absolutely nothing to anything you've said so far. Had nothing to do with anything. So weightless example is now circled on the board. All right.
Associated with harassment and bullying.
Physical and mental health. Workplace harassment is associated with negative physical and mental health outcomes, including insomnia, gastrointestinal distress, high blood pressure, headaches, anxiety, PTSD, depression, physical pain. You know, sometimes simply working can increase the stress necessary to cause all of those things. And is this a purely and exclusively female experience? What does this have to do with cheesy pro-female authority figure ad campaigns?
Harassment and bullying is associated with negative physical and mental health outcomes, including insomnia, gastrointestinal distress, headaches, high blood pressure, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and physical pain.
Okay, I'm circling a list because might not be a numbered list, but it was on a card and it was a list of symptoms, etc. So circling a list.
Super glamorous for a girl boss, am I right?
Yes, because these things only happen to women. Work stress is a purely female experience. What are you talking about?
So what do we do?
I don't know what we are. I don't even know what the question is at this point. First, it was cheesy ad campaigns. Then it was bullying in the workplace. Then it was questionable history on the ability of people to gain loans from banks. About all of it? One of it?
How do we start to make change for women business owners everywhere?
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Speak up. Wait, women business owners. If you're the business owner, why would you not report harassment and wait, I just realized something. If you're in charge and somebody's bullying and harassing you, you fire them. You don't have to report anything. You just say goodbye. What?
Well, for starters, we should drop these labels of boss babe, fempreneur, CEO, #girlboss.
Honestly, until I saw the title of this presentation, I do not believe I had ever seen the phrase fempreneur before. Girl boss, yes. CEO, maybe a handful of times. It didn't sound completely unfamiliar to me when I saw it, but maybe I just don't travel in the right female circles or something. Anyway, yes, what was it again?
Boss babe, fempreneur, CEO, #girlboss. And I understand and recognize the community that was created using boss babe and fempreneur, the empowerment that was felt.
But...
and the strength that was given, but we need to lay these labels to rest.
Why?
For a long dirt nap 6 feet under.
Why?
So we can make room for actual change.
Okay, well, then tell me, what is actual change?
Instead of this faux feminism that is boss babe culture.
Feminism on the board. I figured it might come up literally at some point or another. Okay. So what do you propose happen to change the litany of problems that you have given us so far?
So,
a needle pulling thread.
In lieu of flowers.
In lieu of flowers.
Please send more market access.
Send more market access. How?
Increased capital.
How?
More women in the financial sector.
How?
Non-toxic community building.
How?
Zero tolerance bullying and harassment policies.
I get a little twitchy at zero tolerance on anything that's kind of intangible or subjective in places. I've seen things like that happen in schools that don't turn out that well. But I'd have to say skeptical of that being a very productive thing to try to implement.
Oh, there's a lot of other things, including enacting the Paycheck Fairness Act.
Enacting the Paycheck Fairness Act. Okay. What was the Lilly Ledbetter law? Was that not the Paycheck Fairness Act? Or is there something else that she's talking about? Or is there something I'm forgetting?
Closing the gender pay gap.
Oh, the pay gap, the wage gap on the board. And there is not a gender pay gap, there is a gender wage gap. There is an earnings gap. Earnings gap. Not wage, not pay, earnings. And here's the thing. Here's the problem. Having circled wage gap, I am proud to say...
Give me a bingo, Vasily. One bingo only, please.
Right?
Yeah! Our first bingo in the middle of the show. Usually we have to come back around to everything at the end of the show to get our bingos, but that's our first bingo, guys. All right, straight across the middle, our first bingo. And we have 2 minutes left, but a whole lot of cards coming up.
And calling women business owners what we are.
Okay. What are women business owners?
Bosses.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that the employees in a company where the person running the company is a woman often go around saying, "Hey, girl boss. Hey, boss babe. Hey, CEO." I'm sure that's just common nomenclature in most businesses where that happens. Yeah.
Period.
Period, you say? I could make a period joke, but this is TEDx.
So let us take a moment to everybody turn your attention and let's check out some amazing words of encouragement that myself and many other women in business have received during our time as women in business.
Okay. And this is where the musical number begins of music that I've cut out, and I've replaced it with some more pleasing music, and I hope slightly not nearly as loud music. So we will entertain each of these cards as they come up. I have not read them ahead of time. I just know that they're there. Number 1, make sure you let your husband buy you something pretty. Said to Nancy Diebert, Epic Marketing, LLC. Okay. What? If you're fabulous, you'll do fabulous. Said to Jacqueline Thompson, ex-LuLaRoe consultant. Why is she an ex-consultant? So wait, are these things said to women that you're citing as problems? Or you're citing as good things? I'm confused. Why don't you ask your guy to come in and I will talk with him about it? Said to Kelly Cox, owner of Strawberry Fields Landscaping. I'm circling leaves out vital context because I'm not quite sure what any of these are supposed to say about anything in particular. So, yeah, at least so far. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk again. Bet my left nut successful businesswomen don't use the term girl boss or boss babe. It's always from people with too much time doing no overtime. Har, har. Yeah, I've never quite understood those cheesy, band bossy type. I don't know. I don't know what it does for somebody else except to put a lot of money into some kind of marketing company's ad campaign budget or something. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Do those cakes taste as good as you? Said to Candy Ramirez, owner of Queen Bee Bakers. Okay, so creepy pickup line, cheesy pickup line. Did an employee say that to her? Okay. I don't know. If you say so. What else? I didn't realize that this was woman-led. This is your company and work. There's no one else that's going to join us for this meeting, unquote, said to Calla McGuire, social media strategist. Okay, well, just because I'm curious, was the speaker a male or a female? I'm just curious. But okay, so someone of some type was sexist, or okay, all right. And again, I can believe that condescending, insulting, sexist, etc. things get said to people every day in business or otherwise. What does any of this have to do with solving a problem? Because honestly, all this looks like, and I think all that this is a list of complaints with no solutions offered. You want a family? You can't have that and a successful career, unquote, said to Nicole Elliott, mom and entrepreneur. Well, you can. You just have to make certain sacrifices and adjustments, and depends on what kind of career you're going after. And it really all depends on the details of the situation. I mean, I could make a successful career as a day trader working off of a laptop in my living room and still be an effective parent. I probably couldn't be the same if I was a deep sea fisherman. Yeah, it all depends on the circumstances. So, you know what? Argumentative non sequitur. Actually, the entire talk was an argumentative non sequitur because she brought up all these things and she never made an argument. It's just like, these things are bad and I'm upset, and now here's a list of things that should happen. But there was never... Anyway, as a result of...
Bingo. What? Of course!
We have our second bingo down the right side column. Next. You might want to find a new husband that is all in with LuLaRoe, said to Roberta Blevins, ex-LuLaRoe consultant. Is that an insult against you or your husband? I have no idea what's going on now. What is LuLaRoe? And is this the second ex-consultant for that? Or is that the same lady? I'm already forgetting if I've seen the same name 3 times now or something. Why don't you come to my shop to discuss it? Said to Heather Cox, owner of Heather Cox Codes. Isn't that our speaker? Is that a text you got or something? Oh, okay, and so you got an annoying text from someone. I can believe it. So what? What you think male business owners don't receive shit from people on a regular basis, sexist or otherwise? I mean, is a sexist insult somehow worse than any other insult that comes your way on a given day? What are you asking to have happen? Well, you gave us a list of things you want to see happen, but you didn't tell us how you get there. You should do this, and this should happen. And that's it? Really? That's it? That was your presentation? Okay, well, I knew it was a short one. I thought it'd be packed with something else, but apparently nothing but loose threads that went nowhere. All right, well, sometimes you get what you get. I suppose. All right. Well, here we are at the bingo card time. Yeah, it fits perfectly. Let's go over the bingo card one more time, and then I will take arguments for squares to be circled. And then remember, there's a special announcement coming after we finish off with the bingo card. So first off, sales pitch for product or service. Well, she put up a card with her name and her business and the hashtag.com and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to call it there. I'm going to be very, very generous today and say that was a sales pitch for product or service. Childhood or family anecdote. Strangely enough, she never brought up her family. I was kind of surprised. No family, no childhood, nothing. Privilege. It was implied regarding the attainment of loans. Male privilege. Signatories and so on. So circle in that one. Contradicts own point or argument. There was no argument. Here are some bad things, bad trends. And then, so was there any argument to contradict? The absence of an argument might make that square uncircleable. White supremacy. The closest I could come if I wanted to, and it'd be a stretch, would be her mentioning about minorities unable to get loans. That's the closest I could get. I don't know if that reaches the marker. So I'll take arguments elsewise. Word salad. This whole thing, it was just nothing but stuff and no payoff and nothing. It just, yeah. Self-vilification or wretchedness. No, there was none of that there. Victimhood, yes. Self-vilification, no. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase, no. There was no new buzzword or buzz phrases here. There was a call to destroy old buzzwords and buzz phrases. So, no. Mind reading assumes motives. Oh, man. I mean, if I wanted to take all those little quotes at the end and say that they were assuming they were all, because I don't know. I mean, I'd have to mind read and assume at that point. My mind is all over the place right now. Somebody give me an argument for that one. Benevolent condescension. Benevolent condescension. Was she condescending to women in this? Because that really was her major audience. I mean, it started out as though she were trying to say that these phrases and things, as she said, infantilize and diminish women. So she wasn't trying to be condescending. She's trying to uplift them by tossing aside these unproductive ad campaigns. Benevolent. There was just such nothing here. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm getting all wishy-washy on a couple of these. So if you guys have any arguments for squares yet to be circled, and I haven't missed any bingos, have I? No, I got the one on the cross, one on the side. Okay. So any other arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. I will entertain for a couple of minutes here, and then I will make the big announcement. The big announcement. Yvonne, Femmepreneur was a new one to me, but wasn't that one? That wasn't one she invented, right? I'm assuming that was a pre-existing thing. Like I say, I can't say that I've ever heard that before, or I don't recall ever hearing that before. So it was new to me, but it wasn't something where she was saying something I like to call. So it wasn't like her self-branded phrase. So no, I don't think that counts. Let's see. Mr. Tickletrunk, we need to stop saying boss bitch. Also, look at these quotes. Yeah, like, what? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, wait, Jamie Milquist. She said second generation female owner. Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh, my God. What was I thinking? Obviously, I wasn't thinking. So you know what that means.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
Our third bingo. Oh my gosh. I'm honestly surprised we're getting this many bingos out of this. Seriously, I just Holy cow. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Keeverdam, toxic positivity isn't a new buzz phrase. In fact, it is not. Toxic positivity is something that's been around for a little while now. I did a TEDx covering toxic positivity last year, or maybe the year before. They all kind of run together after the pandemic started. So somewhere in there was an actual toxic positivity TEDx. So no, it's not a new one. Let's see. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? Also, hello, Ken Lee, Ebony Williams, Lexi Mads, if I didn't already say hello, Roger Reynolds, Blitz Zero. Let's see. Blitz Zero, what do these quotes have to do about the presentation? She presented them as, here's some things that have been said to female bosses like me. And I guess these are examples of harassment or insult or something. I don't know. But I don't know why she's complaining. I mean, obviously, she's earning and making 20% more revenue on less money than another company, so she should be sitting pretty. Right? Okay, well, I tried. Well, not seeing any other big arguments for squares to be circled, I'm not going to be too sad at 3 bingos. So I'll still take a look if anybody else has any other suggestions as we go for the next few minutes. But now, time for the big announcement, everyone. So here's the deal. I am going to attempt with next week's TED Excellence to have a viewer's choice night. Okay? Now, this is how it's going to work. It might be a disaster, it might be a one-time experiment, or it might be great. We will find out together. Now listen carefully, or just rewind because this is being recorded. Here's how it's going to go. If there is a TEDx or TED Talk that you want me to review on a TED Excellence next week, you need to find that TED Talk or TEDx Talk, and you need to put the full title into a comment on this video. Now, you can't put comments on it yet if you're listening live because it's not published yet. But as soon as this broadcast ends and comments are available, you find the TED or TEDx you want me to review and just paste the full title. That's the title of the presentation, the name of the speaker, and usually the name of the venue in which it happened. That full thing. Just put that in a comment on this video. Okay? What I will do is I will take these nominations and I will put them into this online Wheel of Fortune thing that I found. And at the end of the Sunday stream this week, I will spin that Wheel of Fortune live on the air so that there's no confusion over how it was selected or what was selected. And that will be the TEDx and or TED Talk that I use for next week's TED Excellence. Now, there are some caveats that you must be aware of. So listen close or rewind. First and foremost, 1 bite per customer, so to speak. You can put 20 nominations into the comments, either individual comments or a list or something, but I'm only going to pay attention to the first TEDx presentation you suggest. So there's no point in putting a whole ton or flooding or trying to stuff the ballot box. Pick the one you want me to do and put it in the comments, and that'll be it. Secondly, it cannot be a TEDx or TED Talk that I've done before. Now, I am not going to hold you responsible for determining whether it's something I've done before, because I have done a lot of TED and TEDx talks in 5 years. So what's going to happen is once I get my working list of nominations, I am going to go through them myself and just double check the thumbnails and the titles to make sure it's not something that I recognize as having done in the past. Okay? So that's not your responsibility. That'll be my responsibility. The third rule is no presenters who are not adults. Okay? There's a whole subsection of TEDx Talks called TEDx Youth, where they have like elementary school kids and junior high kids giving presentations. And even though I've done like 3 or 4 TEDx youth things in the past on this channel, I made it a personal rule quite a while ago not to do any more, because it doesn't feel right criticizing or critiquing some kid who's probably just repeating something they learned in school from an adult kind of thing. So no presenters who aren't adults. There are adult presenters sometimes at TEDx youth events, so I'm not saying you can't pick something from a TEDx youth presentation. It's just that the speaker must be an adult. That's one thing. And the last caveat, I reserve the right to decline any particular presentation whose subject matter I don't feel like would make comfortable entertainment. Okay, now I'm keeping that nebulous for a reason, because I don't know all of what's out there. But let me give you, unlike many of the speakers I cover, an active example of what I'm talking about. There is a TEDx talk out there, one that I have been asked to do many times that I will never do, wherein a woman and a man are on the stage, and the woman is a rape victim and the man is her rapist, and they talk about forgiveness or something, and I don't know. But either way, not gonna do it, as Dana Carvey used to say. If the subject matter is completely downbeat, or if it's something that looks to be very boring, like today we're going to discuss the history of calculus, something like that, I'm probably going to decline it and just say, nah. It's got to be something that at least piques my interest and doesn't make me feel like I want to take a fork to my wrists or anything. Now, as much as I am able to, it all depends on how many nominations I end up getting. As much as I'm able to, if I decline your nomination for some reason, I will do my best to leave a reply comment to your nomination to explain why. Okay, just so nobody's left out in the dark as to why their selection didn't make it to the last list or whatever. So after this show concludes, get your nominations in between now and the end of Saturday this week, because I'm probably not going to look at the list again Sunday morning before the show. So I'll review everything Saturday night or in between, and I will create a list of nominations for the next TED Excellence next Thursday. The prize for winning, my eternal gratitude and a shout out on the show. That's the best I can do, I suppose. Now, if 2 people end up picking the same TEDx talk or something, well, I'll just put it on there once and you might both get credit, that kind of thing. So I think I have covered all the bases I need to cover with the rules. This will either be really fun or a complete disaster, because I'll only end up getting because here's the thing I'm worried about. I'm worried that given the plethora of presentations I've looked at in the past 5 years, there's not going to be anything left for you guys. I'll get a whole bunch of nominations and I'll just go did that one too. Yep, did that one. That's my biggest fear, but who knows? We'll see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, you can't blame me for trying. So with that, everybody, I'm going to call it here. We have 3 bingos. Pretty good for such a short talk of practically nothing. Kind of surprising, honestly. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. If you'd like to hear more from me, well, you can find me here again Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Sunday stream, where I'll talk about something. And then at the end of that stream, I will spin a wheel for madness and insanity for next Thursday. But otherwise, everyone, thank you for joining me for this otherwise relatively short TED Excellence. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very little to do. Everybody who donated, thank you so much for your generosity, both to myself and or anybody that you donated to in the GoFundMe's at the top of the chat box. And at the last second, of course, thank you, Keldrig, very much. Have some money. Well, appreciate it, Keldrig. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How many times can I say I appreciate it? I appreciate that I appreciate it, and you're appreciated for being appreciated. Appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great rest of their night. I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend ahead of you. Everyone, I hope you're safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.